The initiation phase. This is of course the first logical step in developing a project. This is the moment where you're realizing needs in your organization or your community and you want to work around that needs. At that moment you want to actually start seeking for key actors to develop a project around that need. Key actors being funders, possible partner organizations. It's important before contacting organizations that you really think thoroughly who you're going to contact, which expertise you need, or maybe even what geographical location you should have. On the other hand, if you have an idea, don't make it too detailed. Don't have a detailed project proposal ready, otherwise you don't leave any space for possible input from your partner. Another thing you should acknowledge from the start of your project is that conflict will arise. You're going to work together and it's very logical that conflicts will arise. See conflict as something positive, not destructive, and try to work around them in a positive way. Don't avoid them.
This is when the initial idea is conceived and you get together to start discussing your project. There are different things to keep in mind though. It's important to have a good and respectful communication. It can sometimes be difficult when you're working over a certain distance and not have the possibility to have a face-to-face meeting to try to outline your plans for your project. My main tip would be to try to spend a lot of time on discussing expectations and the projects, even if it's via email or a Skype call. Try to have the task division also written on paper and outline your project plans as much as possible to have a smooth partnership. There are certain things you should try to keep in mind. For instance, it can be very frustrating if you've sent an email and it takes some time for your partners to respond. So if you know that you will be unable to respond to emails over a certain period, let your partners know in advance. Also, for a partnership to be good, to make sure that all partners have an equal say. Most important, however, is also to have enough funds to actually implement your project, so make sure that you spend enough time on writing your proposals and application. In the toolkit Partners for Peace, you can find more information on how to go about in the planning phase. You'll find some useful advice on conference call etiquette, for instance, how to communicate with your partners, and so forth. By planning and being prepared, you'll ensure that you have a good foundation for the implementation phase.
So the implementation phase of a project is definitely the most fun. It's when all the planning you've done for months and weeks in advance finally comes together and you get to see the fruits of your labor. That said, there's also loads of work to be done in the implementation phase. Tons of things can go wrong at this stage, so it's important to kind of remain calm, think on your feet, and go with the flow. Things that can go wrong, I mean, there could be a hailstorm, a snowstorm, a sandstorm, who knows, causing trainers or participants to miss their flights or their flights being cancelled. But those are things that are out of your control at that point, and you just have to deal with them. The best way to deal with those things is to ensure that you've divided up tasks in advance so that each partner knows what their responsibility is and that there's no confusion as to who does what, and that you continue to work together. I mean, communication, communication, communication is kind of the mantra throughout this toolkit, and it's definitely true for this part of the project as well. Don't let minor things put a damper on this part of the project. Manage your individual stress levels. I mean, things are bound to go wrong. Don't let your individual stress spill over into the partnership. I know for me personally, if I get stressed out, take a few minutes, drink my coffee, and I'm ready to go again. So make sure you do that. I mean, everybody's going to be stressed, so remember to continue to have fun with your partners. Another thing is, again, communication. Have weekly, daily, in fact, meetings with all your partners where you talk about the highs and lows of that day, your disappointments, and how you can improve things for the next day. Don't bring these things up in front of other participants. You know, be respectful to your partners and deal with them then. Finally, remember to have fun. This is the best part of the project. This is when everything comes together, so enjoy yourself. In order to make this part of the project a little easier for you, the toolkit includes further tips on how to deal with implementation further tips on how to deal with potential crisis, as well as templates for how to divide tasks and such. So hopefully this will make your implementation phase a little less stressful.
Hi. In ERDAC, we were also responsible for the monitoring and evaluation of the toolkit preparation process. And basically what you should know about monitoring and evaluation is that it is done with the purposes of recording what you actually have done, assessing the intended and unintended consequences, and analyzing whether it was effective or not. The main difference between monitoring and evaluation is that monitoring is ongoing throughout your project, while evaluation, you may want to have evaluation on the start of your project, which is called the baseline survey, then midterm evaluation to choose whether you are going on right direction or no, and the final evaluation in the end of the project. Basically, the sources of information are very diverse, and you may assure you are using different sources of information like self-assessment tools, questionnaires, online surveys, which we have been performing during this project of toolkit preparation, also focus group discussions and so on. The more diverse and are your sources of information, the more valuable information and objective information you receive, which further assures you on a correct evaluation of the strengths and the weaknesses of your project and threats and opportunities.
And we are moving for peace. Ooh, yeah. And we are moving. It's international youth, them are moving for peace. Moving for peace. So will you please keep on moving. Our international youth peace. Chechenians, Palestina, Israel, and Belgians come together in a special place in our cheek. We don't care about donations, we are strong physical and spiritual. It's about the message. They use them through music, so no weakness. Cause these youths, them are tough, we can handle anything. Cause we have seen the worst in pushing and